So hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video we will be understanding what is Avogadro's law, and we will also see some basic graphs related to Avogadro's law. But guys, for understanding this law in a better way, we need to have some basic knowledge of equation of a line. And for that, I am quickly going to revise the equation of line in next 2 minutes. And for that, let's move on to my book now. Wondering what is maths have to do when it comes to chemistry. So guys, please listen carefully over here because these concepts are going to help you all in drawing the graphs required for understanding these laws. Okay, so basics I'm going to tell you all. First of all, you must be heard of the equation y is equals to mx. This is nothing but a equation of a line, and as we all know, this equation stands for a line which passes through the origin. Okay, so basically we have a y-axis over here, a x-axis over here, and this equation y is equals to mx is for a line which passes through the origin, where this angle made by the line with the horizontal x-axis is known as theta. We don't know this angle, we have assumed it to be theta. Okay, so now if you want to find out the slope of this line, so to find out the slope of this line, the simple formula is nothing but the tan theta. So when you take the tan of this theta, you will ultimately get the slope of this line. Now let us understand what these terms in the equation mean. This y stands for this y-axis, a variable along y-axis. This x stands for variable along x-axis, and this m is simply nothing but your slope of line. So this slope is represented by m, and what is the formula for finding out slope? It is nothing but simple formula tan of theta. Okay, so I hope this much is clear for you guys. The next thing I would like to mention over here is that you need to understand one more equation of a line. Okay, so the next equation is nothing but y is equals to mx plus c. Now since here there is a constant added, here c is nothing but a constant, so since there is a constant added, therefore our line is not going to pass through the origin. So from where it is going to pass, let us understand that. Okay, so I draw a basic y-axis over here, am I right, and I draw a horizontal x-axis. Now this line is going to pass somewhere from above, it is cutting the y-axis. Okay, so now let us understand these terms over here. This y represents nothing but the variable along y-axis, this x represents nothing but the variable along x-axis, this m is nothing but the slope of the line. Okay, so now you might be wondering how can we find out the theta to find out the slope of a line. So for that you need to draw a dotted line which is parallel to the x-axis, and this angle theta is nothing but used to find out your slope. So if you find out the tan of this angle, you will get the slope of this line which is cutting the y-axis. Okay, now what is this c? This c is nothing but the distance of the intercept made with y-axis till the distance of origin. In simple words, this c is nothing but the distance of origin till the intercept made. I hope you can pretty much see this with the help of the diagram. So I hope these small concepts are clear for you all. So now let us understand the fourth gas law, which is nothing but the Avogadro's law. Again here the Avogadro is the name of the scientist. So as we all know that gas has four physical properties: pressure, volume, temperature, and number of moles. So what Avogadro told us is that suppose you keep pressure and temperature constant, which means that you do not change the value of pressure and temperature. So you can find out the relation between volume and number of moles of gas. And he said that the relation is that the volume of gas is directly proportional to the number of moles of gas, which means that greater volume of gas will have greater number of moles and less volume of gas will obviously have less number of moles. In this way, if you want to replace this proportionality sign with the equal to sign, you obviously have to add a constant. So here we add a constant, let's say K4. Okay. Now can I compare this equation with the equation of a line y is equals to mx? And as we all know that the line y is equals to mx passes through the origin. Okay, so let's see how we get the graph for this equation v is equals to k4n. So basically, first of all, you have to draw the y-axis. Okay, so this is a y-axis and you have to draw a x-axis. Now here the variable on the y-axis is nothing but your volume of a gas, and the variable on x-axis is obviously nothing but your number of moles. Okay, and here slope of a line m is nothing but k4. So the slope of line is nothing but our constant k4, and as we all know that the line is going to pass through the origin. So the line is going to pass through the origin. And how you can find the value of the slope? What is your slope? Slope is nothing but k4. How you can find the value of k4? By simply taking the tan theta of this. So by just taking tan of this angle, you can find out the value of k4. Is this clear? And this k4 is nothing but a slope of your line. Now the next thing is that, see, I am considering this equation again. V is equals to k4n. Okay, so V is equals to k4n. Now can I take this n on the left hand side? So what I am going to do is that I am going to shift this n to the denominator on the left hand side. Now try to understand this equation. V upon n is equals to k4, which means that for any value of v and n, the ratio is always going to remain a constant value. For example, just for the sake of an example, let's say that the volume is 200. So the volume is 200 meter cube and the number of moles of gas are nothing but, let's say, 50. Okay, so inside 200 meter cube of volume, 50 moles of gas are present. So obviously 200 upon 50 is going to give you 4. Is this correct? Now what I am going to do is that I will increase the volume from 200 to 240. Okay, but although you are increasing the volume, the value of this constant is going to remain the same, which means that you are going to get 4 only. So now here the number of moles are going to adjust itself in such a way that the ratio becomes 4. So the number of moles are also going to increase from 50 to 60. So now if you divide 240 upon 60, it is obviously going to equal to 4. Now here we conclude one graph. That is, we all know that V upon N is always remaining the same constant value. So can I say that the ratio of volume upon number of moles is always the same value? So here now I draw a graph where on the y-axis I take V upon N. So the y-axis I have taken V upon N, and on the x-axis I am going to take volume of a gas. So even though you change the volume from 200 to 240, the V upon N ratio is always going to remain the same value. Is the V upon N ratio changing? No, it is always remaining K4. And what is K4? 4, 4, 4. In our example it is 4. But if you want to find out the value, it completely depends on what are the constant values of pressure and temperature. Okay. So I hope you are able to understand this. Now, similarly, even if you change the number of moles, here I have drawn a graph for volume. Similarly, if you change the number of moles, still the V upon N ratio is going to remain a same value. So I hope this thing is clear for you. Now I am going to consider this equation again. So let us consider this V upon K4N. Now what I am going to do is that I am going to take log on both the sides. So log of V is equals to log of K4N. And as we all know that there is a property of log that when two numbers are multiplying, it is going to add them separately. So log of V turns out to be log of N plus log of K4. Am I right? I've just separated K4 and N. This is a property of a log. Now can I compare them with the equation y is equals to mx plus c, where this c is nothing but a constant value. Okay, and as we all know that the equation of a line y is equals to mx plus line is such a line which does not pass through the origin, instead it cuts the y-intercept, y-axis. So let's see how we get a graph for this. Okay, so first of all I draw a y-axis and I draw the x-axis over here. And as we all know that here the variable on the y-axis is nothing but log v. We are comparing both these equations. So the variable on y-axis is nothing but log v. Okay, and the variable on the x-axis is nothing but log n. Can I write this as 1 into log n? So the variable on x-axis comes out to be log n. Similarly, the slope of the line m is nothing but equals to 1. So m is equals to 1. And what is the formula finding m? M is nothing but tan theta is equals to 1. So theta turns out to be 45 degree. So theta will become tan inverse of 1, which is equals to 45 degree. Now I am going to draw the line. Since for theta is positive, therefore the line is going to go up. Okay, why? Because theta is positive, therefore line is going to go up. If theta would have been negative, so the line would have been coming down. Now how will you find this 45 degree of theta? You have to draw a horizontal line which is parallel to the x-axis, and this angle is nothing but your 45 degree angle. Okay, now here we have understood the use of log v, we have understood the use of log n, but we haven't yet discovered log k4 in this graph. This log k4 is nothing but this distance, that is the distance from the origin till the intersection point is nothing but the log k4, which is a constant value. See, k4 is a constant, so it is obvious that the log of k4 is also going to be a constant value. Now this Avogadro's law helped us to find out one important value, and what is that? Avogadro was the one who told us that 1 mole of gas, okay, 1 mole of gas occupies 22.4 dm cube of volume. So with the help of this law, he found out that 1 mole of gas occupies 22.4 dm cube of volume. And if you don't know what are moles, don't worry, I've already given you all the link in the description box below. Okay, so he said that 1 moles of gas will occupy 22.4 dm cube of volume, and he also said that since inside 1 mole there are 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms or molecules, they are going to occupy 22.4 dm cube. It is obvious now that if 1 mole is occupying 22.4 dm cube and inside 1 mole there are 6.022 into 10 raised to 23 atoms, then obviously they are also going to occupy the same volume, which is nothing but 22.4 dm cube. So guys, as mentioned in the starting of the video, in this video we have only understood the basic graphs required for understanding the law. But when it comes to your competitive examinations, you won't be asked questions directly from these graphs. There will be certain variations, and for understanding these variations in the graph, you need to understand what is an ideal gas equation. So you can find the link of that video in the description box below. Okay, so do watch that video, and thank you for watching this video.